Let's do this. Check this out.
Sorry, Pillow Man. You ain't got nothing against me.
The Hottie game reviews were filmed in front of a live audience.
Hello everyone, it's your boy, the Hottie here. And today, we are reviewing one of my most hyped games of this year, Yakuza Like a Dragon. Thank you to GameStop for giving me that. Absolutely baller. I'm sitting by the fire today since it's getting a little cold out, and I figured I would come and tell you about this lit game. You get it, that was funny. And yeah, I mean, I really like it. I really can't wait to tell you guys about why. It was a blast to play through. It's pretty much what I've been playing through for this, couple of weeks that I haven't been posting. I'm very sorry about that. But I really hope you enjoy this review. And let's just hop right into it, you know? And no holding back, no holds bars, hop into it. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between, here we are. We're here to talk about Yakuza Like a Dragon, which I gotta say, I'm so excited to talk about it. The first thing I'd like to talk about is the story. As I usually do, the basic premise is you play as Ichiban Kasuga, a Yakuza grunt who took the fall for a crime he did not commit. And after getting out of jail, he is then betrayed by his previous patriarch. And so now he has to go and find out why. And of course, there's always some insane, more deeper meaning to it than you originally, led on to know. And it's really good. I think they did a really good job on the story for this one. I felt very invested in the story, and I think they did a really good job of introducing Ichiban as a protagonist along with all of his friends. So I think they should be very happy with how they did on that. But not only do I think they did a good job on the story, but I also think they did a great job on the sub-stories. Now, anyone who's played a Yakuza game before is going to know how the sub-stories are. They're funny, they're weird as hell, and they're fucking awesome. I had such a good time just looking through all of these sub-stories and just trying to get invested in all of these little characters that they make. And I think they do a great job of it. They always do good. They do good on just making such weird, wacky, fun things happen, but they all feel very believable for the universe. All the characters have good reactions to the things that happen, and it feels just very genuine and realistic. I freaking love it, man. It's so good. And, with that, I think that kind of wraps up my thoughts on just the story and all of the things in the story in general. So I'd now like to talk about the gameplay. Now, the gameplay has changed quite a bit compared to previous Yakuza games, because we've gone from kind of in-the-moment beat-em-up to RPG action. But I think it works good. I think the idea that he has to be on a team with these people because he's not as strong is perfect for an RPG. And I think for a first time making an RPG like this, I think they did a pretty solid job overall. I do think that there are some problems with it. I think if you try to grind out some stuff, it'll get really repetitive and boring, and I don't really like that. It's tiring. But the heat moves, they're all really cool. They're a pleasure to watch. All of the little special moves are just fun to watch. And it's all really good in the way all your different stats affect you in battle. You have personality stats for Ichiban. You have style and charisma, and all of those affect your battle. And not just the battles, but of course with like different things like wooing girls and stuff like that. But that's actually a problem I have. It's actually very hard to raise said stats. And it's very annoying to have to do that. You know, constantly to have to go and continue with sub-stories. You have to raise your stats to a certain thing, but after doing a test at a center for so long, you can't do it again. And so then there's just no good, efficient way to raise your stats, so that's always a pain in the ass. Another pain in the ass with the gameplay overall is the fact that in battles, you move automatically. You don't move. This game, I think, could have benefited from a South Park, like the Fractured Butthole type system, where everybody gets to kind of move in like squares. Maybe not that to an extent, like maybe not that exactly, but like something like that, because just moving around on your own just doesn't work good. It's just not how this kind of thing should be. That you could set up a lot of cool things that you could do, but with the characters moving themselves, you just can't set that up. You can't hit as many people as you'd like to hit, or pick up what you'd like to pick up. It's like things, so it's really annoying having to deal with that, and I really don't like that. But other than that, I really don't have many other problems. The boss fights are really good. I actually really enjoyed them. I heard a lot of people saying they don't like them. They say they get too repetitive, but I liked them all. They all had a good amount of challenge. The only time it ever felt really unfair was when you went from like fighting level like 35 enemies to just like level 45 in just one mission. And it's so annoying, because then you have to go and you have to grind a bunch of levels, because then you have a really hard boss fight, and you need to save all your money, and it's just a huge pain in the ass. But other than those kind of gripes, I guess, I'd say the battle system was pretty good, and I would say that Ryu Gakatu Studios did a pretty good job on their first RPG's gameplay. And the next thing I'd like to talk about is the soundtrack. Now, look, the soundtrack for this game, oh my gosh, it slaps. It's a banger. It's just all bangers. It's so good. Every time I had to fight a boss or an enemy, the soundtrack so increased those battles. Like the song that I used in the skit at the beginning, that's my favorite song in the soundtrack. I think it's one of the greatest songs in like a Yakuza game. I really like it that much. I think this game just has so many bangers in its soundtrack. Like, actually, I can't wait for them to put it on Spotify, because I just want to add this whole OST to my playlist, because it is so good. I highly recommend listening to like Receive and Turn You, the song that's playing, I believe it's playing right now. That's a fantastic song. Actually, everybody should go and listen to that. But that's really all I got to say about the soundtrack. And the next thing I really want to talk about is the mini games. Now, every Yakuza game has mini games, but this one has a lot, I guess you could say, bigger mini games. Not really. I mean, it's got the two basic ones from like the previous games. It's got all of like the ones that we played before, like bowling, batting, karaoke, all that jazz. But it's also got the two new ones, which I'm mainly going to be talking about, because I think that's kind of the most important to talk about in this, which is Dragon Kart and the Business. And I'm going to first talk about Dragon Kart, which is basically this game's version of Mario Kart. It's nothing too great, you know? It's fun, no doubt, but if you just keep playing it over and over again, it gets repetitive quick. There's only 4 cups, you know? There's only a certain amount of carts. There's sub-stories tied to it, which makes it a little bit more interesting. It's kind of like this game's pocket circuit, but other than that, I mean, I really couldn't say too much else about it. I would say it's fun. I would say it's cool to see Ichiban in a cart. It's pretty freaking funny. And it's pretty fun to like see all the sub-stories that are connected to it. And then, of course, the next one that we have is the Business minigame.
Ichiban Senpai! Whoa! Aren't you President Ichiban from Ichiban Confections?
I sure am!
Eat at Ichiban's Ichiban Senpai!
First in smiles, Ichiban Confections!
So, I just kind of wanted to add in one of the commercials for the Business minigame, not gonna lie, because I think they're really freaking funny, and I think they're really well done. So basically, you run a kind of like a, what was the word, like a holding company over all of Yokohama, where you just basically buy businesses, assign people to the property, and then just make money. And then at the very end, you go and you do what's called like a shareholder meeting, which is basically the Yakuza Online mobile game. It's pretty much what it is. I didn't realize it until halfway through because I've played the mobile game before, but that's pretty much what it is, and it's fun. I mean, it's not the greatest ever, you know, it's pretty boring, but it makes you, like, near the end, you can get like 3 million yen per shareholder meeting, but, you know, that is pretty good. I mean, it's fun, you know, it's fun to have that kind of, like, extra business to do. I still think there were better businesses, like, I still think the best one is the Cabaret Club, but I think this one was pretty good, not gonna lie. I would say these two newer minigames were both fairly well done, and I think I should be pretty happy with how these two turn out, and I hope they kind of follow the trend and add more new games with original ideas. But next on, I'd kind of like to just get to my final thoughts about the new Yakuza game. Now, to basically just finish up my thoughts for this game, as a Yakuza game, it's very good. As an RPG, it's very, very good, especially for their first one, but I think there's still a lot of things that they can work on to make this better and more people enjoy it. I think they need to be able to kind of have some way of making you move more free, and they need to make you feel like a little bit more of a team. I know I've kind of been saying that in my reviews a little bit recently, but if you've seen the April Fool's teaser, which I'll show some footage of it here, one of the things they show off is Nanba, which is the homeless guy with like the hood up, kick a bat at Ichiban, and then he like does like a big attack with it. I would have loved to have more like in the world attacks like that in this game, but they don't really have anything like that. That would have been really cool. I'd like to see more things like that where you can kind of use your environment with the team, because that would be something that you could really only find in Yakuza, and I think would look really well in an RPG like this. But I mean, it's their first time, and for their first time doing it and for changing up the formula, I think they did pretty good. I think the story's pretty good. I think the soundtrack's great. I think the gameplay can be fun, a little repetitive at times, and a little bit grindy, with a kind of level gap at a certain point in the game. But I still think it's overall a solid, good game. So to anybody, especially Yakuza fans, I would definitely tell you to play it. So that's about it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. It was a lot of fun to make, and I'm sorry for taking so long to make it. I hope you all have a great Christmas if I don't post again, and everyone have a great day. Bye-bye.